Oh my God. That was the Jazz Loft Band. What? They need a round of applause. Simply give my coffee, my hitter. Ndio, my hit. Hashtag is Hey Amina. Now, if there was an interview that I was really looking forward to, let's take it back. Okay. Now, if there was an interview that I was looking forward to do, it's got to be this one because of all of the big people that he put on the map. Ted Josiah, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
This is your first time on the trend?
It's my second time, I think. Yeah, it's my second time.
All right, it's going to be your most fun one, don't worry.
Is it? Great, lovely, great.
Thank you so much for coming through. We know that it was a bit, hard for you to get someone at this time.
Yes. Gummy bear comes first nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
As
I come second. Yes. I'm just the guard, so I have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're inspiring a lot of single dads out there.
That wasn't the intention, actually. The intention was just to pick up the pieces and try and raise a little queen. Yeah. So I'm glad that some people are being inspired. I mean, that's a good thing. But it's a bit shocking that people tend to think that, wow, a dad can be so loving. I mean, dads should just be loving, full stop. It shouldn't be shocking, but that's the world we live in right now.
That is very true. It shouldn't be surprising. No. Should be standard.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be standard. Yeah. A dad should love and protect. Yes.
And you're doing just that and having a lot of fun online as well. There's a time you took a break on social media.
Yes, we took a break. Unfortunately, my inbox got hit so hard. People were like, no, you've got to bring her back. She's our joy. She's the only reason we're here. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? Maybe God's purpose for this child was to bring joy to some people.
Yes.
And her second name is Wendo, which means love. So maybe that's why she's on the planet, to bring some love and joy to people. Yeah.
So we're grateful that you took some time to come through and have some fun with us here on the show.
Yeah,
and talk about things that you used to love back in the day, like breakdancing.
Yes. Well, I did love breakdancing when I was 13, 14, 15, 16 there. Yeah, I used to run away from school and go and do the breakdance competitions.
Yeah.
Don't tell my parents. They don't know.
Yeah. They're watching too late. You used to even have the glove because you used to idolize Michael Jackson.
Yes, I did very much. Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, and those guys were my icons when I was growing up, and I always wanted to be just like Quincy Jones.
Yes.
And Quincy Jones went into producing Michael Jackson and a whole host of greats back in the 80s and early 90s, and still does a bit of production work, but he's more of a jazz musician now. And that's the person who inspired me. A lot of people think it's Babyface, but actually it was much deeper. It was Quincy.
Yeah. Wait, so do you listen to jazz? The Jazz Loft. What did you think of them? I saw you.
They're lovely. They're lovely. Right now, I only listen to jazz and kizomba right now.
Oh.
Yes.
What? But you started out. It was hip hop and it was pop and it was.
No, I started out, and the first album I was ever going to release was going to be a jazz album.
Yeah.
But then people said that's too deep for Kenyans. Why don't you start gentle and soft? And I ended up in the pop realm just by accident,
Yeah.
First artist I worked with was an artist called Hardstone, and followed very closely by Shades of Black. Actually, I was working with them concurrently, and both of them did very well. Shades of Black with Serengeti Groove, which crossed into Tanzania and really influenced the Tanzanian R&B music market greatly. Because they thought, because it was Serengeti Groove, it must have been a Tanzanian artist who sang this. So, it went on high rotation back in 96. And Hearthstone did very well here with Uhiki.
Yeah.
His song Uhiki and the entire album. So yeah, that was my dive into the pop realm in the Kenyan music industry.
Could you say that Hardstone was like maybe the first proper pop artist in our region? Pop superstar?
I would say so, yes, because the moves he made up till date are sort of kind of hard to match.
Yeah.
He's the only artist I know in Kenya who managed to fill Nyayo Stadium by himself on a Saturday afternoon. Yes. He would fill stadiums.
That's dope.
He's the only artist who's ever recorded a music video on film, 35mm film. Back then, Konica saw him and really loved what he was doing, brought an Italian film director in to film And we were just like in shock. Whoa, what's going on? But you know, God lifted this guy from really from the slums into a huge icon in the country. Yeah.
And we have some big names. I want to ask you, okay,
Yes.
so now there's some big names. I
Yeah.
understand that you
Yeah.
had a lot to do with, you know, discovering them, putting them on the map, or propelling them into, you know, stardom.
Yes.
So you're going to say yes or no, or, you know, tell me the story, right?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So did you discover Nameless?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. Necessary Noise?
Yes, I did.
So did you know Waire and Nazizi at the same time?
I produced Nazizi because Nazizi was being a brat and bugging her uncle. Her uncle was my boss. And when your boss says you have to produce this person, you've got to produce this person. So at the time, I thought, well, let me just do her a favor and produce her quickly. And then she became a superstar.
Yeah.
And
wait, is that when she did Mama, Mama?
yes, exactly.
That was the true story.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first single, and we
Yeah.
made fun of it. But you know, fun of the situation. But it actually became a big hit.
Yeah.
Waire camped at the studio for 2 weeks. He would come in from Athi River every morning and stand at the gate.
Every day.
Every day.
And you just ignore him and leave him there.
I didn't know who he was, you
Oh.
know. And one day, one of my business partners at the time, David Morady, said, "There's this kid who's
DJ
been out
Delight?
there." Yes,
Okay,
DJ Delight. There's this kid who's been out there for 2 weeks. Just listen to his damn tape. Let him go home.
Yeah.
And I listened to the first 30 seconds and thought, wow, this is amazing.
And then Necessary Noise was born.
Necessary Noise was born. Yeah.
Okay, so Kalamashaka?
Yes, Kalamashaka.
Sheila Mwanyiga, aka Nikki?
Nikki, yes,
Oh, you
that's
put her on the map
correct.
too?
Yes.
Giddy Giddy Maji Maji?
That is correct.
Did they come as a pair, or did you
No,
also do
they
like
also
Necessary
came.
Noise?
They also came
As individuals.
I met them at Florida 2000, and I asked them to pair up together if they wanted to work with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was like your, if this doesn't happen.
Yes.
And then we have the songbird, Atemi.
Yes, that's correct.
What?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've talked about Hadstone. Jimmy Gathu? I didn't even know Jimmy
Yes.
Gathu was a musician.
Jimmy Gathu and Maina Kageni.
Yes, and Maina Kageni, he was a singer. They were
Yes.
both singers.
Yes, yes.
What did they used to sing? What does,
Oh
what does
my
he says Foko
God.
Jembe. What does Maina
I tell you what's going to happen in 2018. We've decided to do a best of Ted Josiah. So I'm going to call all the artists I feel were iconic and put them on stage to do a live performance. And that's going to be my sign-off to the country.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then there's also Susanna Owio.
that's correct.
Kaz.
Yes, Kaz.
Dij.
Yes.
Pili Pili.
Yes.
Darling
yes.
P.
That's correct.
Worogi Wawili.
That's correct.
And the list goes on
It
and on
does,
and on.
yes.
But what is surprising is that Ted refused to work with Issa
Yes.
and Baby Cool.
Yeah.
Did you regret that? And why did you not want to work with them?
I didn't regret it. At the time, I was having a musical crossover in my mind. I wanted to do more Afro fusion. That's the time I started working with people like Susanna Wheel and Chieng Abura and Unasi and people who would go global and not just local.
Yeah.
And that sound was very, very different from the pop sound. It had more African percussions in it, more live instruments, and Bebe Cool and Issa were really, you know, in the pop realm. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, been there, done that. I really don't want to do that. And there
Okay.
are other people I feel who can bring their sound out much better than I could. So I just, you know, stepped back and let it happen.
All right. But are
Yeah.
you a bit disappointed with some of, you know, how some of those stars turned out today?
You know, music is it's a personal journey. It's like art. You can't be disappointed with an artist who's a painter. You know, they come, they do their lovely paintings, they die sometimes miserable deaths, and we end up buying their paintings for millions of dollars. You know, same thing for musicians. You know, they come, they give you a part of their soul. And when somebody gives you a part of their soul and leaves it on tape or leaves it on canvas, I don't think you should be disappointed if their journey, you know, veers off and goes to another place.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do get upset because I know that there's certain musicians who could have put Kenya on the map, like in an instant, because you know, I know the backstory of what was happening, and I know the doors that were being flung open for them, and they just ignored those doors, you know, and that is disappointing. Yeah, it is. But you know, it's life.
It is.
Everybody's got a journey. You've got to walk it. Yeah.
C'est la vie. And you know, your journey, one thing that, you know, we were like, what happened is that, you know, when people hear your production, you know, you hear a bit of like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and you hear a bit of like Quincy, as you had mentioned. But you don't produce as actively as you used to.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I traveled out of the country in 2008. I went to do animation and film. I got caught up in that, and I got caught up in really training people on how to become audiovisual producers and that kind of stuff, and setting up TV stations. So I'm in a different headspace right now. I still love music a lot, but as you know, the music industry in Kenya is still, it's struggling, especially for producers. DJs are doing pretty well. They go on stage, they get paid. Mfalme, I see you.
I'm a DJ man, so amekula kila kitu.
No, artists are doing pretty well. They're not doing as good as they should.
Yes.
Neither are the DJs, but they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But producers, when you look at it, if you want to make a living out of music production, it's really limiting financially, and you've got to invest a lot. So I thought to myself, you know what? I've done my time. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I'm not just a music producer.
Yes.
I produce film. I like to paint. I like to do sculptures.
Yes.
I like to do animation. So there's so many other things I want to do. I don't want to be in this little cocoon. If I feel like coming back into the game, I will, but not just yet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's hear what people are saying online. The hashtag is Hey Amina. Any questions for Ted, Christine?
Yes, there are comments and questions as well. Mr. Harry, the first one here, is saying Ted Josiah is a living legend. Salute for the many artists he has mentored. Another comment here is from Sleek, who says, oh, this is Ted Josiah, underrated legend for his contribution to Kenyan music.
Yep, I agree with that.
Most definitely. Kiki is saying, this man Ted Josiah, God bless his soul and his beautiful princess. He inspires and reminds us that no matter what happens in your life, you can still pick up the pieces and move on.
Yep.
Yeah. And Archie is saying, where did you source Ted? I mean, a household know him he is. I don't regret being up now. Big up, Ted.
Oh, trust me, it was very, very many phone calls of please bring her. We will look after her.
No,
oh my gosh.
we shall bring her on the trend.
Will
soon.
you?
I will. I
that would be
promise.
so cool.
I promise.
He's promised on
her
TV.
mom was here about a month before she passed, and what people don't know is Gummy Bear was in the back.
Yes, I was told.
If you could hear the sound, she was screaming her head off.
Like, Mom.
Yeah. So we will bring her, and we'll let her say hi to the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So now, Ted, I think it was sometime last year on your Facebook where you decided to chime into the, Kenyan-Nigerian music debate that's been going on for quite some time.
Yes.
Why did you feel the need to, shed some light on that issue?
The thing that upsets me about this is a lot of people think Nigerian music is big just by accident. It's not. There's been a lot of financial investment into Nigerian music. And also the artists understand that if X invests in me, I have to respect that, and I have to sort of, work within that. But in Kenya, you find that a lot of people have been investing, just out of sheer courtesy, sometimes just investing in musicians, and the musicians get a little small hit of fame and they think, wow, I've made it, and then they dump everybody who's working with them.
Yeah.
And they go back down, and then they have to start the cycle all over again.
Yes.
And that's upsetting. But also, I chimed into that conversation because I thought to myself, December 12th, 1998, Kalamashaka, a Kenyan group, was in Lagos controlling 150,000 people on stage.
What?
150,000 people strong on stage, brought to you by Benson and Hedges. They were flown all the way there to do that performance. And I thought, where did we go wrong?
So when you think about this, because you've been in the industry close to 30 years now, that's a long time, and when you now see the industry where it is today, have we in any way surpassed your expectations? Are you a little disappointed that we're here now, and that Afro music, which is so funny, we were talking about it before, has just we cannot even be compared?
It is sad because when we look at when I started my career, I thought about Fadhili Williams. I thought about Daudi Kabaka, Fundi Konde, all great Kenyan artists who came 30 years before me, and I thought to myself, how far would they have wanted to push this bar? Musically speaking, them Mushrooms, all of those guys. I thought about them, and I thought, well, I've got a responsibility to take it a notch higher. I've got a responsibility to make this sound more global. So it wasn't just sitting in the studio to gain fame. It was sitting in the studio to actually make a mark in the country. Nowadays, when you listen to the music that's coming out, within 3 months, it's not being played on air.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's a hit for about 3 months and it's gone.
And Joe's not playing it anymore. And it's
Yeah.
just not hot.
I've got music that I produced back in '99 that's still being played in the clubs. And I asked myself, what's wrong? It's because people don't think about, when you're in the studio, you don't think about the longevity of your music. You're thinking, I want to hit now, make the money now, and leave. No, it's art. Leave something that people will love for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's talking about from Atoti.
Yes.
No. He did Atoti, he did Boga Boil, he did Sazingine, he did Tafsirihi, which is true, they still play all of those records.
Yeah, they
so, you know, I think this is something that we're going to have to still bring Ted back and talk about some more. But this debate doesn't end here.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, we still need to talk about. There's the Ongea Summit going on right now at the Saturday Center, trying to see where we can take our Kenyan music industry. But just in brief, as you know, we finish up, what do you think should be next? What should be our next step?
I think the next step should be a conversation that should be had with the government as well.
Oh, okay.
I think the next step is actually a few steps back. I think we need to create a Hall of Fame for all the greats that have come before us, so that we teach our young ones who we were as heroes and where we can go. And where we can go, because you know, when you see a hero and an icon being celebrated, you think to yourself, I can be that too, you know? But when you see them being dragged in the mud, you think, well, maybe I'll look for another job, this isn't so cool. So I think that's where we're missing it, and this very young government, I say young in age, should grasp that and really, you know, there's nothing wrong. We've got Kimathi Street, we've got Moi Avenue, we've got so many streets where we can put walks of fame if we wanted to, you know, and plaques and stuff like that. And let's start celebrating our own, because they actually made a mark.
Was that why it was so important to you to start up Kisima Awards?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes,
All
it
right.
was. Yeah.
Well, I think we need to talk some more. I can't believe this, but thank you so much for making
You're
time,
welcome.
Ted. I really
Yes,
appreciate it.
great.
Ted Josiah, everyone. Oh.